Hello guys, today we're going to be doing one if Deku had element control. And sorry for the background noise, and if my voice is a little low, it's because, people are sleeping and it's like 11:37, so yeah. And yeah, let's just hop right into it. So we start off with a 4-year-old Deku at the quirk doctor. And this time he actually has a quirk. And when the doctor... Oh wait, I almost forgot. I'm going to include lightning because when you talk about elements, you usually mean the 4 elements, which is fire, water, earth, and wind. And I'm just gonna add lightning into there. So yeah, don't mind that. Anyway, Deku is gonna be diagnosed to have a quirk, and it's going to be called element control, and it's extremely broken. And the reason why I have person in the thumbnail is because he has fire, lightning, earth, wind, and pretty much all the elements. Yeah. And anyway, back to the story. After he hears this, he asks his mom if he can become a strong hero, which she agrees. Still being shocked at the fact that he has such a powerful quirk. And once Deku gets home, or the next day, sorry, he tells everybody about his quirk, and they say he has a strong quirk, and but there's some flaws to his quirk. Yes, he can control the elements and wield them, but sometimes he can lose control of those elements. And that's what we're going to talk about. Bakugo, since he's still a bully, he has not changed in his timeline, will start saying that Deku is lying about his quirk and, starts to bully him. And since, Deku's not using his quirk, everybody else starts, jumping in, saying that he's a liar and pushing him around. This is when Deku uses one of the hardest elements to control, which is fire. It bursts into flames. And everybody is shocked. The elements do not actually affect his body in any way, so it really doesn't matter the fact that he's using flames. It doesn't affect him anyway, but it does affect the others around him, obviously. Deku, after bursting into flames, he accidentally lights the building on fire. Deku's quirk is still not under control. He's trying to calm the flames down, but it's just not working. And the more he tries, the more flames seem to seep out. So he tries to completely calm down instead of panicking like he was doing. And at this point, the firefighters have already been called, and everybody has already been evacuated. Everybody knows that it's only Deku's quirk. Well, from what the teachers have said anyway, that is Deku's quirk that is activated, and it's become out of control. And Deku, after calming it down his mind, he ends up passing out from the insane amount of flames that just came out of his body, and goes, or the firefighters after stopping the fire, and they rush in getting him out, and they scold him because of what he did, and make sure he's okay. And Deku after this incident, he wants to, figure out how to wield his fire last, since it's probably going to be one of the hardest elements for him to control, because flames are not common anyway. So knowing how that works, he decides to go for water first, which actually works, and he ends up mastering it within about a year. And then he figures out that he can actually wield lightning. And at this point, Deku's 5 years old when he figures this out. He ends up trying to figure out which one he wants to do, but then he just ends up deciding to do wind. And this takes him actually 2 years to master wind. And this is when he finally goes on to lightning. And this is when we're going to time skip to the present time in canon. And at this point, he's just about to master his lightning. Yeah, it takes a long time for him to master lightning. It was a little harder for him to do it than he thought. But since he already started so much, he didn't want to, just give up. And his quirk is extremely strong at this point. So, he's not weak in any way. Deku is extremely strong. He's so strong he can literally summon lightning bolts to come down from the sky. Anyway, that's besides the point. Deku, goes to school like any normal day, and he doesn't like Bakugo that much. For he still holds a grudge against him because he kind of made that incident happen by bullying him and doing that to him. Deku goes to school like in any normal day, and towards the end of the day, the teacher pulls out job application tests, and the teacher says, the teacher throws up the papers, then saying that I know all of you want to be heroes, and everybody starts using their quirks besides Deku and Bakugo, and then Bakugo has the same speech like in canon, and after the teacher says that his name about him wanting to go to UA, and then he says Deku, and everybody is like, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense that Deku wants to go to UA, and then Bakugo starts yelling, saying that Deku doesn't deserve to go to UA, but everybody pretty much starts ignoring him because he's Bakugo. This is his normal attitude. Then he starts yelling at Deku, saying that he shouldn't go to UA unless he wants to die. And yeah, school ends. Deku walks home the same way he does in canon, and then he ends up seeing the sludge villain. And when he sees the sludge villain, his speed has naturally increased actually a lot. He has pretty much superhuman speed and strength, passively from being able to master his abilities. He was clearly able to see the sludge villain jump towards him from out of the sewer, and Deku pretty much watches him in kind of slow motion. And since he's sludge, he doesn't really know how to handle him. He was thinking about electrocuting him since he's sludge, but he thinks that might be a bit too dangerous. So he tries to manipulate him with manipulate his body with water, because he's a liquid, and that actually works. And he pretty much trapped the sludge villain in like a water prison, and it's decent size. And then this is when All Might jumps out of the sewer, stating, "I am here." And then he sees Deku with the sludge villain in his hands, or the sludge villain in like a box of water, which confuses All Might. And All Might walks up to the kid and says, "Thank you for defeating the sludge villain," and says what is his quirk. And Deku says his quirk is element control, which shocks All Might because it's an extremely powerful ability to control elements. And Deku says that if he wants Sludge Villain, here. And this is when Deku pulls something out of his backpack, and it's kind of like a capsule, and he just pushes the sludge or forces the sludge villain to go inside of it, and then pushes the top back on it and gives it to All Might, and All Might says thank you, and jumps away. And he's confused that Deku didn't ask him for an autograph, but he's like whatever. And this Deku is, he's still a fanboy over heroes, but All Might is not his favorite hero in this one. Actually, it is Aizawa, which because he likes the way Aizawa works. And yeah. Anyway, Deku and proceeds to go home. Now we can cover the 10 months training. And this is when he starts, trying to figure out how to use his earth element. And he struggled with this extreme a lot, but he trained a lot harder than he did it normally, because the UA exams are coming up, and he knew that people with powerful quirks were gonna be in the festival. I said festival. Oh my god, exams. And UA was made with people with powerful quirks intended. And Deku then gets ready to go, and he after he goes with, or damn it, after the 10 months, and he's learned a decent amount of earth bending, or not, I said earth bending, about the earth element, and it's not extremely powerful from and like a use ability that he should use a lot, but it's good for now. And once Deku starts walking into the building, he hears his name yelling, or somebody yelling his name, and it's Bakugo. Once Bakugo, catches up to Deku, he starts yelling at him, pretty much cursing at him, and Deku just pretty much ignores him, making him look like a crazy lunatic. And everybody, starts walking away from him, and Bakugo was about to fall because he was so busy talking to Deku, but he uses his explosions to push himself up, and then a girl appears behind them saying sorry. She was about to use her quirk on him, but it seems like he caught himself. And Baku starts yelling again, and they pretty much split up. Deku goes and sits where he does in canon and listens to President Mike speak about or explain the tests, and then they do the written portion. And this is when the same the same thing happens with Ida. Ida still does the same thing he does in canon, but doesn't talk about Deku, because Deku was mumbling. I'm pretty sure that's why he was talking about Deku. Anyway, he goes, and once the 0 pointer, no, not 0 pointer. Oh my god, bro, I'm fumbling over my words right now. Once the physical portion starts, or once the gates open for the physical portion, Deku immediately activates his lightning, and pretty much using it like a lightning cloak. Think of like Godspeed Killua, or A when he's using his lightning cloak, yeah. and Deku just pretty much disappears completely from everybody's speed or sight. My bad, speed, not speed. Oh my god, completely disappears from everybody's sight, and then you just see him, a blue flash teleporting around, or seemingly teleporting around and smashing robots to pieces. This shocks everybody, and Ida's even more shocked, but because he's supposed to be the speed guy, but he you know just ignores this and starts running out, and everybody realizing that there's no go coming for them, everybody else starts running out too, and they all start destroying robots, and in the stands, the teachers are impressed to see Deku's prowess, and then Aizawa pulls out his sheet after Nezu asks him, who the kid is, and Aizawa says that his name is Izuku Midoriya, and his quirk is called Element Control, and everybody's hearing this, and they're like, "Wow, that's extremely strong ability." And then Aizawa says that the only thing it does is drain his stamina, and it it's called Element Control, but he seemingly can't control one of his elements, and there was an accident that had occurred when he was 4 years old when he first awakened his quirk. He said that the build that he accidentally burnt down his school on accident when he awakened his quirk, and the flames seemingly don't affect him, but they definitely affected somebody else, some of the other kids that had gotten injuries, and Nezu says interesting, and they continue to watch Deku destroy robots, and till Nezu says, "Bring out the big one," and this is when the 0 pointer comes in, and everybody starts running away. Deku, not really, since it doesn't give any points. He was about to run away too, but then he heard a girl screaming for help, which this is when his reflexes came in, and Deku immediately rose his hand to the sky, or rose his hand up, and then lightning coursed through his hand, and then it hit the sky. Then a whole bunch of clouds started to gather, and yep, I'm using this. He summons a lightning dragon, and then Deku says, "Kid." Then lightning dragon flies down, screeching, and crashes right into the 0 pointer, destroying its head immediately. Then Deku, start after using the attack, starts going over to the girl. Pretty much before the robot falls completely on top of her, he grabs her and moves out the way, and she's completely shocked at his pure speed. Everybody is shocked at his pure speed and strength, at the fact that he was able to summon an entire lightning dragon from the sky, and especially the heroes or the teachers and the stands that were watching are completely baffled at Deku's pure prowess, and at the fact that he was able to save the girl with ease. And Deku gave the girl to a recovery girl, or yeah, and then walked off after she thanked him, and he went home. A few days later, Deku got his invitation from UA, or acceptance letter from UA, saying that he got the highest score, saying that he got 200 points, 230 points, and then he got 60 rescue points, which brings him at a total of 290 points, beating everybody by 100. Because I think Bakugo got 100 points, but I'm just gonna say he got 110. So, uh, he beat everybody by 180 points, and Deku's happy about this, and tells his mom about the letter, and come a few days later when he it's his first day when he walks inside of the building, sorry. He opens the door and sees Bakugo and Ida arguing. He's about to go find his own a seat by himself, but then a guy with yellow hair walks up to him and says, "Hey, aren't you the kid that destroyed the zero pointer in one attack?" And then a kid with white and red hair turned his attention and said, "Wait, who is he?" And Deku says, "Yeah, it was one of my moves." And the guy introduces himself saying that his name is Kaminari, and his quirk must be similar to his because he was able to use lightning, and Kaminari himself can use lightning. And Deku says, "Oh, he can use more than lightning," and this confuses Kaminari. Deku then says, I only showed lightning, but I can use more than lightning." And Deku pretty much tells him what his quirk is, and this shocks, everybody that was, that heard it, and even Todoroki, which was the red slash white haired boy. And they say that his quirk is extremely powerful and he has a lot of potential. And Deku says, "Yeah, well, I hate a lot of that. A lot of people say that to me. Sorry." And then, I, sorry, but then Mineta says a weird phrase. Is that a caterpillar? Everybody turns their attention to the door, and then a man with a man in what a sleeping bag then crawls through through the door and then stands up, telling everybody to shut up and sit down. And when everybody sits down, he pretty much says that took them too long, and then says that he wants them all to put on a uniform and go outside. And once they do that, Deku then, or not Deku, sorry. Once they all go outside and put on their stuff, I'm sorry. Deku, or not Deku, Aizawa, goddammit. He says, they won with the highest place on the entrance exam, step up, and Bakugo, gets ready to walk up, but then Aizawa finishes saying, "Izuku Midoriya, come here, since you got highest on the entrance exam, you're gonna go first." And this enrages Bakugo, but he doesn't do anything. And then Aizawa asks Deku what was his highest ball throw in middle school, and Deku says about 30 meters, and he says impressive, and then he says try it with your quirk, and Deku says okay. Then Deku prepares to try everything. Deku's arm immediately bursts into lightning, and then water starts to kind of surround the ball, and it starts the water and the lightning starts shocking, like kind of reflecting off of each other. And Deku then proceeds to launch the ball into the air, and at the same time still has his hand out, but this time there's no lightning, and this is when his wind element where he's pretty much pushing the ball to go even further, and if it starts to go down, he starts pushing it up. Deku continues to do this for about a minute, and then he starts using all of his strength to just push the ball completely up into the air before, gets out of his range, which he does, and it shoots up out of nowhere. It shoots up in the air out of nowhere. It was pretty far already, but it shot up even more, and as I was shocked at this, and he looks at the thing, or the tracker, and he says that Zuko Midoriya's score is unreadable, and he says this with a smirk, and this enrages Bakugo, and Bakugo immediately uses his explosions, exploding towards Deku. As I was about to, stop him, but then Deku puts up his hand, and Bakugo gets shot backwards by an invisible force, seemingly, and pretty much pinned to the wall that they were next to, and this shocks everybody how easily Deku took down somebody with such a strong quirk like Bakugo. Sorry. And Deku's pretty much holding Bakugo there, and then Aizawa tells Deku to stop, that he can take it from there, and Deku does. Since Deku's used to his attitude and how he acts, he, doesn't really overreact about it or do anything extra. He just, did that so Bakugo doesn't hurt anybody with his explosions. And, Deku, or not Deku, oh my god, or Bakugo. Aizawa gives him the same warning he does in canon, and, everybody starts doing the ball throw, or everybody starts getting excited about the ball throw, or about these exercises, thinking that this is going to be fun, but then Aizawa smiles, saying that since this is going to be fun, the person to get last is going to be expelled. And this is when everybody gets ready to do their best, and is a little scared. And Deku pretty much aces everything, getting the top score. In speed, he arrives on the other side in 0.1 seconds, because he was using his lightning and wind at the same time to boost his speed. And sorry. And yeah, this is where actually I'm gonna leave it off. And before I go, if there's anything you want me to do with this element controllability, like how Naruto has like what's the element releases and stuff like that, and like other abilities like that, I will definitely do it, because I would love to see Deku even become even more broken with the ability. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore that right now. Anyway, as I was saying, damn it. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm getting a lot of calls right now. I should have turned my notifications off. Anyway, yeah, if you want to see that, just put it in the comment section, and I'll probably do it. So yeah, and I have another what if coming up. It's probably gonna be a collab, but we're gonna see. Peace out, everybody, and goodbye.